This is a power plant, and this is the generation sector. Okay? When we say generation sector, their business is to generate power. That's their business. Wala nila, they don't distribute. They're not into this transmission, but their business is to just produce electricity. Okay? So for us here in Mindanao, there are major independent power producers. One, we have the Therma South Inc. We have San Miguel Power Corporation. We have GN Power. We have Alson, Sarangani Energy Corporation, and other big companies actually. So these are the big power suppliers in Mindanao. And these are also the suppliers that ZAMSURECO-1 and other electric cooperatives in Mindanao are getting its source of power. So dine mauni ang generation power, generation sector. As I've said, distinct ito. Okay, so there are three major generation. Now, the power that you produce, wala ni kwenta, wala ni saysay, if it could not be delivered directly to, of course, consumers. It has to have a highway. Kalsada ng power. That's why we have the transmission sector. If you look at this, this is the transmission sector. These are the high voltage towers that we see along sa mga major roads and of course sa mga kabukiran. And this is managed or owned by the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, NGCP. Okay? So we have now generation, we have transmission. So ito yung highway, and then itong transmission NGCP, I'm sure you are familiar with yung bang ZAMSURECO-1 substations. Diha sa atong substations, we have one in Balangasan, we have one in Santa Maria, we have one in Tiguma. Diha inaog ang power, dini high voltage power ni. Pag-abot diha nila sa NGCP substation sa Aurora, ipanaog ni because 138,000 volts ito. You could not use this. So it has to be converted, inaog ang voltahe. Pag-abot niya sa Aurora, naapod ipanaog yan into 69,000 volts. And then, ipadagan sa atuang substation sa ZAMSURECO-1, and then again, we reduce it and convert it into usable power. That's why naatay 240 volts. Okay? So, from NGCP, di anatakaroon ning lusot na ta, these are customers, households, and this is now under the jurisdiction of electric cooperatives or distribution utilities like your ZAMSURECO-1. Ang generation sector, ang tawag niya, makita na ko sa atong bill na ay generation charge. Okay? Ang generation charge, these are charges, these are pass-through charges. Ibig sabihin, kung pilay gibil sa itong mga generators, ZAMSURECO-1, gikuha nato ng power, gidistribute natong tanan, gikolekta sa inyo ha, o gibayad rapod gibalik nato sa mga power generators. These are pass-through charges, and ZAMSURECO-1 is not allowed to earn a profit from this. Because this is revenue neutral. It is not allowed. It is unlawful. So wala na. Pass-through charges. So ibig sabihin di ay ang role ng ZAMSURECO-1 day nato, when it comes to the generation charges, we are just mere collectors. We have nothing to do about this. Kay mauni lang cost gipasa ra sa tuwa. Now sa tuwang bill, na apo diha transmission charges that goes to NGCP. We just collect This is revenue neutral. Not a single centavo is added to that to benefit ZAMSURECO. No, we are not allowed to do that again. Kita di ay, the ZAMSURECO and other electric cooperatives and other private distribution utilities, we are here and naadiha ang distribution charge. This is what we are just charging. Nothing else. And for the past how many, more than a decade already, since 2010, ZAMSURECO-1 has not increased its distribution charge because it requires explicit approval by the Energy Regulatory Commission or ERC. ERC is the regulatory body when it comes to the power industry. Now, under generation charge, if you will look at your bill, naa diha, perting daghanang taxes na ay generation VAT, na ay system loss VAT. Pag abot sa transmission na po, na po'y VAT taxes. And this goes to the government. Again, for all these mga charges, taxes, etc., it goes, ZAMSURECO-1 collects all this and remit it to the government. Now, ang pangutana di ay, GM, nganong isaka man di ay ang presyo sa kuryente, grabe kayo for the past how many months already. This is now a big issue. This is not for ZAMSURECO-1 alone, but for other electric cooperatives all over the Philippines. This is already, this problem of rate increases is being experienced. Dili lang ni dini. And what are the reasons? Ang pangutana then let's look at the profile. Therefore, if we say that the bulk of the cost now decrease, ito yung ZAMSURECO-1, you have to know this. These are our power suppliers, okay? PISAM and PC-PISAM. Ito yung hydro, katuning sa Agus Pulangi. Okay, the old Agus. Headcore, this is owned by PSI, 3 megawatts. But as soon, 3 megawatts, as soon as the wholesale electricity spot market in Mindanao operates, mawala na po ni Satwa. Therma South Inc., PSI, 12 megawatts. Sarangani Energy Corporation, 5 megawatts. San Miguel Power Corporation, power is at 8 megawatts. GN Power, 24.24 megawatts. A total of 57.34 megawatts. Ito yung contracted capacity. Ito yung mga na-deliver nila. If we are going to look at GN Power, this is coal, 35%. San Miguel Power, 25%. So the total of 60%. Coal ang SEC, coal ang PSI. The bulk of our power supply comes from coal power, hydropower plants. I mean coal power plants. The bulk of our supply. So for the month of September, example, then we just want to show this. If you're going to look at this, energy supplied by coal, 72%. Hydro, it's 28%. So ito yun. So the bulk actually of our supply comes from coal. Because ito ang coal mga power plants, these are the power plants that were constructed 5 years or more. Wala may mga dagkong planta din sa Mindanao na gitukod na solar or other mga technology. Power plants, big power plants that were constructed, established in Mindanao were all coal-fired power plants. We should know where our peso goes. Asa mo yung paingon na itong peso sa itong gibayaran? As mentioned earlier, 72% na sa generation sa atuang bill na makita ka nang gibayaran nato kada bulan, 72% of that goes to generation charges. Okay? Kani 5% sa transmission rate na ay system loss charges. 9% other charges na adini distribution charge sa ZAMSURECO-1 naa dinhi. Reinvestment Fund for Sustainable Capex naa sa 2%. Naarata dinhi. So the bulk of, if you're paying this much, the bulk of that 72% goes to generation charges. Wala na sa ZAMSURECO-1. Ang pangutana dahil nga ron, GM, what happened to the industry dahil? Nga namang ni Saka ug Mayo ang presyo karon sa kuryente for the past how many months? As mentioned earlier, the bulk of the power supply we are getting here for ZAMSURECO, and not only for ZAMSURECO-1, but for other electric cooperatives in Mindanao, in the Philippines as well, the bulk comes from coal-fired power plants. In fact, sa national level, 52% of source ng power comes from coal-fired power plants. Dini sa tuwa, dako kayo. Ibig sabihin di ay, kung dako kayo, 82% di ay. Dini sa tuwa, sa mga electric co-ops, including ZAMSURECO-1, nagagikan sa coal-fired power plants. What happened di ay sa coal? Kay kanina to ang mga kuan, kanina to mga planta, ang gisugnod ani coal man. So ibig sabihin, kaning coal man good, we are not producing this. We are producing coal and we export it, but kita, most if not all of our power suppliers, we buy coal from other countries. So tanaw na to, kani mao ni na sa itong bill. Okay, naa diha pass-through charges, kani generation charge, system loss, VAT generation system loss, power reduction, subtotal 13 pesos. That's 78.55% of the effective rate na 16 pesos and 64 pesos per kilowatt hour. 78.55% of that goes to generation charge. Transmission charge, as I've said earlier, katong sa NGCP, we're paying for that. Naapanay taxes. VAT, transmission, system loss, subtotal, 1 peso and 0.52 centavos. That accounts for 6.16%. Total power cost charge is 14 pesos, which is 84.71% of the 16 pesos effective rate. Naadi-ay dinhi ang bulk sa generation charge, subtotal, plus naapag yun dinhi universal charges. UC, universal charge missionary electrification, kitang tanan nagkontributa para katong mga spag areas, Basilan, Tawi-Tawi, mga isla, wala na sila linya na ay mga planta diya nga diesel power plants. It's the government subsidizing that and kitang tanan gabayad ana. Mauna sa universal charge, missionary electrification. Naapay stranded debt, ito yung utang nato sa una sa NPC panahon pa ni former President Ramos. Utang sa NPC until now, supposedly bayaran nato kung ma-dispose ang mga assets ng NPC. Kay privatize man, pero wala man kinulang. So naapagyapoy na habilin nga utang, and all of us are paying that. Fit all renewable, kani gisuspend ni karon. Senior citizen subsidy. Kika na sa tuwa, senior citizen consuming 100 kilowatt hours below, they qualify for senior subsidy discount. Asa man na gikan ng subsidy discount, nagagikan na tato tanang member consumer owners nga dili senior citizen nga nagkonsumo og 101 kilowatt hours above. Gikan na sa tuwa. And even senior citizen consuming 101 kilowatt hours pataas, we even subsidize our senior citizen. Naapa, lifeline subsidy charge. Mauni katong mga kaigsuonan nato sa ZAMSURECO-1 sa tibuok Pilipinas, dinhi sa ZAMSURECO-1, those member consumer owners consuming 25 kilowatt hours pababa, gi-subsidize na natong tanan. And out of 188,000 member consumer owners, more than 90% ana a residential customer, around 168,000 are residential customers, 70% or 72% ana lifeline customers. Kay katuna mga kaigsuonan nato nga tua mga salagyo kayong lugar nga ato mga considered as marginalized, and we are subsidizing that. Real property tax, bayad po taan eh. So, ZAMSURECO-1 di ay, maurain taon ni atua. Distribution charge, these are the cost of maintaining our power lines. There are more than 6,000 circuit kilometers of lines that we are maintaining all over the franchise coverage. Gabayad ta o mga materials na malitag materials. 70% of this paingon sa mga tao lahat, sweldo, 30% goes to line maintenance. Supply system charge, metering charge. Sa 16.64 pesos, 16 pesos and 64.53 centavos na effective rate per kilowatt hour. Sa ZAMSURECO-1 in taon, maoran ni. The 16.64 pesos effective rate per kilowatt hour, 1 peso and 61 centavos lang ang naadto sa ZAMSURECO-1 since 2010. So di ay, kung ikaw nagkonsumo ta og 100 kilowatt hours, okay? Example. Example ni. Ang usa ka customer, kung gakonsumo ka og 100 kilowatt hours, kung tag 16 pesos and 64.53 centavos ang per kilowatt hour, ang bayran na nimo kada bulan mao ni 1,684 pesos 0.42 centavos. Ato ning i-breakdown kaning 1,684. Kung ikaw 100 kilowatt hours imong gikonsumo, ang napaingon sa power suppliers tanan kani 1,410. I-appeal ang mga subsidy 1,474 pesos out of 1,684. Ang naadto in taon sa ZAMSURECO-1, 161 pesos ra. Sa ZAMSURECO-1, let me repeat this, stress this. So 1,684 nagibayaran sa atong member consumer owner sa konsumo 100 kilowatt hours, 161 pesos ra ang ZAMSURECO-1. Grabe ang operating expense nato sa gasolina karon. It's because of the increase. So grabe times 2. But we are holding on. Introduce mga efficiency measures. I hope nasabtan ni sa tanan, because this is really, if you want to understand the power industry, this is the basic one ba? Information that we need to know. And as policy makers, as lawmakers, we have to know this because we have constituents. One of the major issues, Your Honors, friends, the constant power interruptions we experience lately. Asa man gid nahitabo kaysa lately we've been receiving so much complaints and bashings, and my God, we're like a punching bag. Ang problema wala sa generation sector. Ang problema wala din sa ZAMSURECO-1 or distribution sector. Ang problema na din transmission, NGCP. Kaning highway. Kay naa diha sa barangay, tingin-tingin, kauswagan, o sana ka barangay, naa dihay linya ang NGCP, nga naay mga kahoy, gipangtano, mga itong mga kaigsuunan, nga ning abot na dito sa linya. Power lines need to be cleaned. Grabe ang power clearing dapat yan because mauna once na mo igo na sa high transmission conductors, mo interrupt na mo igo ngadto mo balik nga ngadto sa mga planta, mas dako og damage. Mao na kami din That's why grabe ang clearing operations nato, and we ask all mga stakeholders help. Kung naa mo ipaputol, kami mo putol. Kay maigo na sa linya, frequent interruption, mubalik na sa atong substation and it will destroy our substation. Dinhi, planta ang madaot. That's why kanang linya diha, gilimit nila ang amount of voltage power nga muagi sa linya, kay og ma-breach ang iyang capacity, trip na po na mo interrupt, mo balik na po ngadto sa planta. A lot of people sa mga nakita natin ZAMSURECO-1, wa kabayad, mao nga gipot planta, sige. No, my God. For the past 16 years, grabe ka, updated ta. Wala tay utang, wala tay kuan sa mga power suppliers. Og dili po na nato tuyoon na i-interrupt. Because gikan pa to November 15, when this interruption started, hangtod last November 24, almost 3 million kilowatt hours na ang nawala namong sales revenue. And it was a big impact on our operations. And that's not, kung naamoy pressure, sakit sa ulo, sleepless night, I think ako yan. Put. Wala ba'y gihimo ang ZAMSURECO-1? No. Naa. Silently, we were negotiating with ako mismo NGCP. Nangasuko na sa grabing kuan. Sabi ko, Pagadian City must be spared kay regional government center ni. Since government regional center, it affects delivery of public services. This has to be spared. Told NGCP, kinahanglan mangita tagpamagi. And it was not ZAMSURECO-1 controlling yung manual load dropping. It was controlled by NGCP systems operator. We were just given a schedule. Mauni inyong sundon. And it applies to other electric co-ops. There is already an existing law governing yung bang pagtatanim, kanibang pinagbabawal ang magtanom o kahoy sa ilalom sa linya. Anti-Power Line Obstruction Act of 2021. Bawal na. And that's why I've been of course kita as leaders, we could pass a resolution urging probably NGCP to strictly implement. And even din sa atuang area, magpasata, adapting probably yung Anti-Power Line Obstruction Act. Nadili na mananom sa ilawom sa kahoy. It has to be adopted by LGU, Canada, DILG, DOE, and other government agencies.